His wife left him and their 2 kids. 5 years later, she returns and is stunned to see what he's accomplished. He never saw it coming, the day she left, as her footsteps faded into the distance, leaving behind a home filled with echoes of laughter and promises that would now never be fulfilled. The silence that followed was deafening, a constant reminder of a love that had been so abruptly discarded, leaving him shattered and bewildered. In that moment, the weight of the unspoken words and unresolved conflicts crashed upon him like a tidal wave, drowning him in a sea of despair. His heart, once buoyed by hope and dreams of a shared future, now felt like a fragile vessel that could barely withstand the force of his sorrow. Every corner of the house bore the imprint of her presence, a painful memento of the life they had built together, and now all that remained was a ghost of what once was. The 2 children, confused and tearful, clung to him, their eyes silently pleading for answers that he could not provide. In the aftermath of her departure, time seemed to stretch into an endless continuum of days and nights, each one indistinguishable from the last, marked only by the gnawing ache in his chest. The burden of solitude pressed heavily on him, and every attempt to fill the void left by her absence only deepened the wounds. His once vibrant spirit was reduced to a flicker of light, barely holding on amidst the storm of heartbreak that raged within him. The memory of her laughter, now tainted by the pain of betrayal, haunted him relentlessly, echoing in every quiet moment. He wandered through the empty rooms of their home, the silence amplifying the loneliness that had taken root in every fiber of his being. The familiar sense of her perfume and the lingering warmth of her touch on the sofa turned into bitter reminders of a life that had been torn apart. He questioned every decision, every word exchanged, wondering if there had been a sign he had overlooked, a cry for help masked by routine. In the mirror, he saw a reflection of a man he barely recognized, his eyes clouded with sorrow and his smile a distant memory. The chaos of the day she left lingered like a dark cloud, casting a permanent shadow over even the brightest moments of his day. The overwhelming responsibility of caring for their children fell squarely on his shoulders, a duty that now seemed insurmountable amidst his inner turmoil. Nights were the hardest, when the stillness of the dark made him confront the gaping void in his heart, each minute an eternity of pain. Even the simplest tasks became monumental challenges, as if the very act of moving forward required an energy he no longer possessed. Every memory of their shared past was now intermingled with the sting of her absence, creating a mosaic of joy and agony that was impossible to reconcile. His thoughts often drifted to the possibility of a future that might never come, a life where the wounds of the past could slowly heal into scars. The sorrow that had taken residence within him was not a fleeting emotion, but a constant companion that whispered in the quiet hours of the morning. The realization that he was now solely responsible for nurturing 2 young souls added another layer of despair to his already burdened heart. He felt as though he was walking a tightrope over an abyss of uncertainty, each step taken with a heavy heart and trembling hands. The home, once a sanctuary of love, had transformed into a monument of memories and loss that he could neither escape nor ignore. The shock of her departure was compounded by the betrayal that stung like 1,000 cuts, each one a reminder of the trust he had so willingly given. In his grief, he questioned the very nature of love and whether it was ever truly unconditional. The silence that engulfed him was filled with the echoes of broken promises, a constant reminder that sometimes love could vanish without warning. He struggled to understand how something so vital to his existence could be so easily taken away, leaving him grappling with a profound sense of abandonment. His mind replayed every moment of their life together, searching desperately for a clue, a sign that might explain the unfathomable loss. Every tear shed was a testament to the depth of his despair, each one a silent tribute to the dreams that had died with her. The once hopeful light in his eyes had dimmed, replaced by a haunting emptiness that seemed to seep into every aspect of his life. The shock of the sudden departure left him in a state of disbelief, as if he were trapped in a nightmare from which he could not awaken. Amid the chaos of his emotions, he clung to the fragile hope that someday he might find a way to mend the shattered pieces of his soul. The overwhelming sadness was tempered only by the resilience that he never knew he possessed, a resilience forced to emerge by the sheer necessity of survival. Even as his heart ached with the pain of betrayal, he knew that the road to recovery would be long and arduous. The shock of that fateful day was a constant reminder that life could change in an instant, leaving nothing but memories in its wake. In the depths of his despair, he vowed silently to be the pillar his children so desperately needed, even if it meant burying his own grief beneath the weight of responsibility. The bitter taste of loneliness was a companion that he had no choice but to accept, for it was now intertwined with every aspect of his existence. The sorrow that gripped him was not fleeting, but a relentless force that challenged him to find meaning in the midst of chaos. With each passing day, he was forced to confront the raw, unfiltered pain of abandonment, a pain that seeped into every crack of his being. The memories of what once was were both a comfort and a curse, a reminder of the love lost and the life that had been stolen from him. Even as he navigated the harsh realities of his new existence, the ghost of her presence lingered in every shadow and whispered in every silent corner of his heart. The emotional devastation was palpable, a constant companion that sat with him at every meal and every moment of solitude. In the quiet moments of the night, when the world was asleep and the pain was all too real, he would lie awake, haunted by the echo of her final goodbye. The overwhelming sense of isolation was a heavy cloak that he wore every day, a burden that seemed impossible to shed. Even as he tried to muster the strength to move forward, the past clung to him like a persistent shadow, a reminder of a time when everything had seemed possible. His soul, once vibrant and full of promise, now felt like a barren landscape, scarred by the relentless march of time and sorrow. Each day that passed was a battle against the tide of memories that threatened to overwhelm him, a constant struggle to hold onto the hope of better days. The home that had once resonated with the sound of laughter and love was now a silent witness to his deepest heartbreak, a monument to dreams that had been shattered in an instant. The pain of her departure was an ever-present reminder that even the strongest of bonds could be severed, leaving behind only fragments of a life once lived in tandem with love. In the days that followed the shattering departure, he was enveloped by an overwhelming sense of uncertainty that forced him to confront the harsh reality of a life now stripped of its familiar comforts, each moment a battle between despair and the faint glimmer of hope. The weight of newfound responsibilities pressed down on him as he grappled with the challenge of providing for his two young children, their innocent faces reflecting a sorrow that mirrored his own inner turmoil. With every sunrise, he awakened to the daunting task of piecing together a fractured existence, learning that survival required more than just enduring the present moment. The empty spaces in his life, once filled with shared laughter and tender embraces, now resonated with the echoes of what had been lost, urging him to forge a path toward recovery. His finances, once stable and predictable, quickly unraveled into a chaotic struggle where every expense became a reminder of the security that had been abruptly taken away. In the midst of this financial tempest, he discovered the bitter taste of compromise, where each decision about stretching a dollar was imbued with the fear of future scarcity. Even as the days blurred into one another, he knew that each small victory, be it a successful grocery run or a rare moment of quiet contentment with his children, was a building block toward rebuilding his shattered self. The nights, long and filled with sleepless worry, were punctuated by the soft, reassuring whispers of his children's dreams, giving him the strength to face another day. Every challenge he encountered on this arduous journey was met with a mixture of trepidation and a growing determination to reclaim his life from the clutches of despair. He immersed himself in the practicalities of single parenthood, gradually mastering the art of balancing work, childcare, and the management of a household that had once been a shared endeavor. The transformation that took hold was slow and imperceptible at first, marked by tentative steps toward reclaiming a sense of order amid the chaos. With each passing day, his resolve hardened like tempered steel, as he learned that true resilience was forged in the crucible of adversity. The once familiar routines of family life were replaced by a mosaic of unpredictable challenges that required him to adapt and evolve in ways he never imagined possible. In the midst of the struggle, he found solace in small moments of triumph, a hearty meal shared with his children, a smile that broke through the gloom, or the quiet satisfaction of a task well done. The bitter lessons of his past gradually morphed into stepping stones that paved the way for a brighter, if uncertain, future. Every setback he encountered became a lesson in perseverance, as he slowly discovered that each failure was a precursor to growth and transformation. His inner world, once ravaged by the raw wounds of abandonment, began to show signs of healing as he sought help from unexpected sources and learned to rely on his own strength. The solitude he once dreaded became a canvas upon which he could slowly paint a portrait of renewal and self-discovery, each stroke a testament to his evolving resilience. In the midst of financial hardship, he learned to make do with less, transforming scarcity into creativity and resourcefulness that surprised even himself. The challenges of everyday life, from paying bills on time to juggling unforeseen emergencies, forced him to develop a newfound clarity about his priorities and values. With each new day, he slowly built a routine that balanced the demands of his responsibilities with moments of personal reflection and growth. The path to recovery was fraught with setbacks that at times threatened to undo all the progress he had made. Yet he persisted with a quiet determination that defied the odds. His children, ever perceptive, watched him transform their shared sorrow into a steady, nurturing force that provided the foundation for their renewed hope. Amid the struggle, he began to explore avenues for self-improvement, taking small steps to better his education and professional skills through online courses and community workshops. The process of learning, both formally and informally, became a vital part of his daily ritual, empowering him with the tools he needed to reclaim control of his destiny. Each new skill acquired was a small victory against the inertia of despair, a tangible sign that he was slowly reclaiming his life. The long hours at work and the relentless effort to make ends meet began to pay off, gradually easing the financial strain that had once seemed insurmountable. In moments of quiet introspection, he realized that his struggle was not merely about survival, but about rediscovering the very essence of who he was beneath the layers of pain and loss. The challenges of this period tested his resolve in ways he had never anticipated, forcing him to confront his vulnerabilities with an unflinching honesty. Slowly, the shattered fragments of his former life began to coalesce into a new mosaic of experiences, each piece representing a lesson learned in the crucible of hardship. Even on the darkest days, the faint pulse of hope persisted, urging him to rise above the adversity and embrace the possibility of transformation. The daily grind, once a source of endless frustration, gradually became a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and ultimately flourish. He found unexpected allies in friends and community members who recognized his struggle and offered their support, reinforcing the idea that no one is truly alone in times of need. The solace found in these relationships helped him understand that recovery was a shared journey, one that thrived on mutual compassion and understanding. The sound of his children's laughter, emerging slowly from behind the veil of sorrow, became a beacon of light that guided him through the most challenging moments. Each small act of kindness, whether from a stranger or a long-forgotten friend, served as a reminder that the world still held beauty and promise despite the darkness. The process of rebuilding his life was both humbling and exhilarating, as he navigated the fine line between despair and hope with a determination that surprised even himself. Every setback, though painful in its own right, offered an opportunity to learn, adapt, and ultimately emerge stronger than before. The realization that his future was not defined by the mistakes or losses of the past became a powerful motivator that drove him to take bold steps toward recovery. As he learned to trust in the possibility of change, his confidence grew, and with it, the belief that he could create a better life for himself and his children. The road was long and often lonely, yet each step forward was a testament to his unyielding spirit and capacity for reinvention. The once overwhelming challenges of daily life were gradually replaced by the steady rhythm of progress, each day marking a small but significant victory in his journey toward healing. In the quiet moments of reflection, he began to see that the struggle itself was transforming him, imbuing him with a strength and wisdom that had been hidden beneath layers of sorrow. The commitment to his own recovery became intertwined with his duty to provide a nurturing environment for his children, each success reinforcing the bonds that held their little family together. With time, the scars of the past began to fade into the background, replaced by a burgeoning sense of purpose and possibility. The hardships he endured, though painful and relentless, ultimately served as the catalyst for an inner transformation that reshaped his outlook on life. Every challenge was met with a resolute determination to rise above, to forge a future that honored both the pain of loss and the promise of renewal. As the months turned into years, the journey toward recovery became less about surviving and more about thriving in the face of adversity. The metamorphosis was subtle yet profound, with each day offering a new opportunity to redefine his identity and rediscover the joy that had once seemed lost. In the end, the struggle was not a burden to be endured, but a crucible that refined his spirit, preparing him for the challenges and triumphs that lay ahead. He began to explore the depths of his own soul, embarking on a journey of self-discovery that would ultimately redefine who he was. In the quiet solitude of long, reflective nights, he confronted the inner fears and doubts that had long been hidden beneath layers of everyday routine. The process was neither linear nor simple, as each step forward revealed new challenges and unexpected insights about his character. With deliberate patience, he started to question his previous assumptions about love, loss, and the very nature of his identity. His early mornings became a sanctuary for introspection, a time when he allowed himself to be vulnerable and honest with his emotions. Every book he read, every conversation with a trusted friend, and every solitary walk in nature opened his eyes to perspectives that he had never considered before. In these moments of quiet reflection, he began to see that his pain was not a weakness but a powerful catalyst for growth. The familiar scars of the past transformed into intricate maps that guided him toward a deeper understanding of his own resilience. He enrolled in community classes and workshops, eager to learn skills that would not only enhance his career prospects but also illuminate new facets of his inner life. As he delved into creative pursuits, he discovered that art and music were not mere pastimes, but essential avenues for expressing the inexpressible parts of his heart. The act of painting, for instance, became a meditative ritual, a silent dialogue between his inner turmoil and the blank canvas that slowly came alive with color and form. Each brushstroke was a testament to his emerging ability to transform pain into beauty, a tangible manifestation of his healing process. His personal transformation was also reflected in his physical well-being, as he adopted healthier habits that nurtured both his body and his mind. With every run in the cool morning air, he felt the burdens of the past lighten, replaced by an invigorating sense of possibility. Meditation and mindfulness became daily practices that taught him to live in the present, to let go of regrets, and to embrace the lessons of each passing moment. He started journaling his thoughts and experiences, capturing the ebb and flow of his emotions with raw honesty and compassion. This written record became a cherished companion, a mirror reflecting both his struggles and his triumphs. In the midst of this transformative period, he found solace in the community of people who, like him, were on a quest for meaning and renewal. Their shared stories and mutual support formed an unspoken bond that enriched his understanding of human resilience. Slowly, he began to let go of the guilt and self-blame that had once shackled him to a stagnant past. Instead, he embraced the notion that every experience, joyful or painful, was a stepping stone on his journey toward wholeness. As his inner world expanded, he became increasingly aware of the profound interconnections between his emotions, actions, and relationships. The simple act of listening to his inner voice provided clarity and direction, helping him to navigate the complexities of his evolving life. Each new challenge was met with a quiet confidence born from the recognition that his true strength lay not in external validation, but in the power of self-acceptance. The transformation was gradual yet undeniable, as he shed layers of old insecurities and welcomed a newfound sense of self-worth. Friends and acquaintances began to notice the change in him, a calm, centered presence that radiated quiet determination. His approach to life shifted from one of reactive survival to proactive creation, where every day was an opportunity to shape his destiny. With every personal breakthrough, he rediscovered lost passions and interests that had once defined him, rekindling a vibrant inner fire. This resurgence of creativity and self-belief allowed him to reframe past failures as valuable lessons rather than insurmountable obstacles. His reflections became a tapestry woven from threads of pain, hope, and ultimately, redemption. In confronting the darkest corners of his soul, he learned to celebrate the light that could be found even in the midst of despair. The journey was filled with moments of profound clarity that illuminated the path ahead, each revelation affirming his commitment to change. As he grew more attuned to his inner rhythm, he developed an unwavering trust in his own intuition, a guiding force that steered him through life's uncertainties. Every setback, once a source of deep anguish, was now reinterpreted as a challenge that honed his resilience and sharpened his perspective. His transformation was not solely an internal metamorphosis. It also began to ripple outward, influencing the way he interacted with the world around him. With each act of self-care, he discovered that nurturing his inner life enriched his relationships, infusing them with authenticity and mutual respect. The process of reinventing himself was both arduous and exhilarating, a constant balancing act between confronting old wounds and celebrating new beginnings. He embraced the idea that change was an ongoing journey, one that required continual self-reflection and adjustment. Through meditation, creative expression, and heartfelt conversations, he learned that vulnerability was not a sign of weakness, but a gateway to deeper connection. The transformative power of self-discovery became evident as he steadily rebuilt his confidence and reclaimed his narrative. He began to see his life as a series of chapters, each one contributing to a richer, more complex story of growth and evolution. The more he learned about himself, the more he appreciated the beauty of imperfection, recognizing that true strength often emerges from the cracks in our armor. In this period of metamorphosis, he found that embracing change meant welcoming both the known and the unknown with equal openness. His inner journey was marked by moments of introspection that challenged long-held beliefs and inspired him to rewrite his personal narrative. With each passing day, he cultivated a sense of gratitude for the lessons life had offered him, however painful they might have been at the time. The profound insights gained from his struggles allowed him to view his past not as a series of failures, but as a rich tapestry of experiences that had sculpted his character. In the quiet aftermath of each breakthrough, he recognized the immense courage it took to confront his inner demons and emerge stronger on the other side. The evolution of his identity was a dynamic process, constantly unfolding as he integrated new perspectives with old wisdom. This relentless pursuit of self-improvement illuminated the path to a future filled with promise and possibility, one that he actively shaped with every conscious choice. His journey of self-discovery was a testament to the enduring capacity of the human spirit to transform even the most profound pain into a source of light and hope. Each lesson learned along the way reinforced the belief that personal growth is a lifelong commitment, a continuous cycle of shedding old skins and embracing fresh, vibrant beginnings. The transformation was as much about letting go of what no longer served him as it was about celebrating the emergence of a new, more authentic self. In embracing the complexities of his own identity, he discovered that the road to transformation was paved with both sorrow and joy, each emotion contributing to the fullness of his human experience. Ultimately, he came to understand that the journey inward was the most courageous venture of all, a voyage that, despite its challenges, held the promise of unlocking the truest, most powerful version of himself. He immersed himself in the challenge of building a new life, determined to turn his once shattered world into a foundation of hope and resilience. Every morning he awoke with a renewed sense of purpose, each sunrise a promise that the darkness of the past would eventually give way to the brightness of his future. He began to carefully reconstruct his career, seizing opportunities that allowed him to learn, grow, and excel in ways he had never imagined before. Friends and mentors emerged along the way, offering guidance and encouragement that helped him navigate the intricacies of his new professional journey. The business he launched was not just a venture but a manifestation of his belief in second chances and the power of reinvention. His office, modest yet brimming with possibility, became a sanctuary where ideas blossomed into tangible projects that would later transform his community. He redefined success not solely in monetary terms but in the impact he made on the lives of those around him, particularly his two children who watched in awe as their father rebuilt his world. With each small achievement at work, he also nurtured a growing network of supportive colleagues, whose shared aspirations fueled his own determination. Every setback was met with a strategic reassessment, and each obstacle became a stepping stone to better, more resilient strategies for growth. He learned to celebrate the little victories, from the warmth of a well-crafted business pitch to the satisfaction of seeing his plans come to fruition. Outside of the professional sphere, he crafted a home that was a sanctuary of love and stability, a place where his children could flourish in a nurturing environment. The house, once a reminder of lost dreams, was transformed into a vibrant space filled with laughter, art, and the promise of new beginnings. He redecorated every room with care, infusing his living space with elements that symbolized his journey from despair to hope. Every carefully chosen detail, from the colors on the walls to the family photographs that now lined the hallways, spoke of a resilience that was as deep as it was inspiring. The transformation of his home mirrored the internal metamorphosis he was experiencing, each room a testament to the rebuilding of his spirit. He forged new traditions with his children, creating routines that celebrated life and the strength of their bond. Weekend family outings became treasured rituals, each excursion an opportunity to create memories that would fill the pages of their collective history. He reconnected with long-forgotten passions, such as cooking and gardening, which now served as therapeutic outlets in his journey towards self-reliance. The kitchen, filled with the aroma of fresh herbs and home-cooked meals, became a symbol of the nurturing environment he was determined to provide. In his garden, each planted seed was a metaphor for the growth that he nurtured within himself and his family. Every season brought with it not only changes in nature but also new chapters in the ongoing story of his personal revival. His financial stability, once a distant dream, gradually took shape through prudent decisions and a steadfast commitment to his newfound goals. He meticulously planned budgets, saving with the knowledge that every dollar set aside was a building block for a secure future. Community recognition began to follow his efforts, as neighbors and local business leaders acknowledged the positive changes he was effecting. The transformation he had undergone resonated far beyond the walls of his home, inspiring others who faced their own struggles. Public speaking opportunities emerged, allowing him to share his story and encourage others to find strength in adversity. His journey was a beacon for those who felt trapped in the shadows of their past, a living testament to the power of resilience and reinvention. The accolades and small awards he received were not mere tokens of success but affirmations that his hard work was creating ripples of change. He established partnerships with local charities and organizations, channeling his experiences into initiatives that uplifted the community at large. Each collaboration became a building block in a network of support that extended far beyond the confines of his personal ambitions. His work ethic, now fueled by a deep-rooted passion for making a difference, transformed the way he approached both business and life. Even during moments of exhaustion, the memory of his initial struggles and the faces of his beloved children provided him with an unwavering drive. He documented his journey through a blog, sharing insights and lessons learned, which resonated with thousands of readers across the region. The digital community that formed around his narrative was a testament to the universal appeal of overcoming adversity. Every comment and shared story deepened his resolve to continue paving a path of transformation and hope. The balance he struck between professional ambition and familial devotion was a delicate dance that he mastered with time and perseverance. With every new project launched, he reimagined what it meant to be a success, intertwining personal fulfillment with the betterment of his community. His children, now flourishing in an environment of stability and encouragement, embodied the fruits of his relentless efforts. Their laughter, a daily reminder of his purpose, served as a constant beacon that guided him through the inevitable challenges. He began hosting community workshops, sharing practical advice on rebuilding one's life after personal and professional setbacks. The workshops were both cathartic and empowering, fostering a spirit of collective resilience that bound neighbors together. His story was featured in local media, further amplifying his message of hope and the possibility of transformation. Each interview was an opportunity to remind others that even the deepest wounds could give rise to a life filled with purpose and achievement. The accolades and recognition were accompanied by personal reflections that deepened his commitment to continuous growth. Every day, he revisited the lessons of his past, allowing them to inform his present decisions and future aspirations. He learned to navigate the intricate balance between ambition and compassion, ensuring that every success was shared with those who had supported him along the way. The legacy he began to build was not measured solely by financial gain, but by the positive changes that touched countless lives. In creating a life rich with meaning, he discovered that true fulfillment was found in the intersections of personal triumph, community engagement, and enduring love. The new life he constructed was a mosaic of all his experiences, a vibrant tapestry woven from threads of struggle, persistence, and undeniable hope. His journey from despair to achievement became a living narrative of how a man, once broken by abandonment, could rise to become a pillar of strength and inspiration. Every milestone achieved was a declaration that the human spirit, when nurtured with love and resilience, could overcome even the most daunting challenges. As the years unfolded, the fruits of his labor blossomed into a legacy that would continue to inspire long after the echoes of his past had faded away. His new life was a masterpiece in progress, a work of art sculpted from the raw materials of adversity and transformed by the steady hand of perseverance. The story of his rebirth was not just his own but a shared journey with every person who had ever dared to dream of a better tomorrow. In the end, the life he built was a living testament to the power of transformation, a constant reminder that from the ruins of heartbreak, a future filled with hope and promise can emerge. 5 years had passed in a quiet blur of transformation, and now the door to his meticulously rebuilt life swung open to reveal an unexpected visitor. Her return was as sudden as it was silent, like the calm before an unforeseen storm that promised to upend everything he had carefully constructed. She stood hesitantly in the doorway, her eyes wide with disbelief as they took in the new man before her. A man who had risen from the ashes of heartbreak with a strength she had never imagined. The air in the room seemed to thicken with tension as memories of the past collided with the reality of his present. Every line on his face and every spark of determination in his gaze testified to years of struggle, growth, and renewal that she had missed. In that moment, the weight of his transformation filled the space between them, a silent narrative of pain overcome and hope reborn. Her presence stirred a torrent of conflicting emotions within him, emotions he had long since learned to temper with time and resilience. The once familiar voice of his estranged wife now carried an unfamiliar tone, one that was laced with uncertainty and regret. As she stepped further into the room, each of her hesitant movements echoed the shock of rediscovering a past that had long been buried. Her eyes roamed over the living room, absorbing every detail of the life he had painstakingly rebuilt. A life defined by stability, success, and unwavering determination. In that charged silence, she could see not just the physical changes, but the intangible aura of self-assurance that radiated from him. The vibrant energy of his home, with its carefully chosen decor and personal touches, stood in stark contrast to the emptiness she had once left behind. Every corner of the room whispered stories of resilience and rebirth, making it painfully clear that he had found a way to thrive despite the scars of their shared past. Her mind raced with a mix of admiration, guilt, and a dawning realization that the man before her was no longer the one she had once known. The transformation was so complete that it felt as if she were looking at a stranger who embodied both the pain of old wounds and the beauty of hard-won victory. In that moment, the silence between them became a canvas upon which years of lost time and missed opportunities were painfully painted. The children, who had grown accustomed to their father's unwavering strength, looked on with cautious curiosity, sensing that something profound was unfolding. His calm, measured tone broke the heavy stillness as he greeted her, a sound that conveyed both welcome and an unspoken challenge. Her voice, trembling with a blend of regret and longing, attempted to bridge the chasm of years gone by. As they exchanged tentative words, each syllable carried the weight of unspoken apologies and unresolved questions. The air was filled with an electric mix of nostalgia and incredulity, as if time itself had paused to bear witness to this reunion. Every glance they shared was laden with memories of laughter, love, and the painful fractures that had once defined their relationship. Her eyes, once so full of certainty, now shimmered with the fragile light of remorse and self-reflection. The man she saw before her was a living testament to the transformative power of perseverance, a stark reminder that life could evolve beyond even the deepest betrayals. He spoke gently, yet with a firmness that left no room for misunderstanding, articulating the journey he had undertaken to rediscover his worth. His words resonated with a calm authority that belied the turmoil of his past, drawing her into the narrative of his rebirth. With every carefully chosen phrase, he unveiled the layers of pain and triumph that had sculpted his identity over the years. The room, once a silent witness to their parting, now buzzed with the unspoken dialogue of transformation and regret. As she listened, her heart ached with a bittersweet mix of admiration and the sorrow of having lost precious time. The contrast between the man she had left and the man who now stood before her was both breathtaking and deeply unsettling. In that charged moment, the gravity of her decision to leave was laid bare, illuminated by the undeniable progress he had made. Her return, intended perhaps as a desperate bid to reclaim what was lost, instead underscored the irreversible changes that time and hardship had wrought. Each detail of his transformed life was a silent rebuke to the past, a declaration that pain could be transcended and that true growth was possible. The children's quiet, observant eyes bore witness to this reunion, reflecting the hope that perhaps forgiveness could still be found in the ruins of old regrets. Even the familiar surroundings of their shared home seemed to echo with the stories of battles fought and won, a testament to his resilience. As the conversation unfolded, layers of old wounds were peeled away, revealing raw truths that had long been hidden beneath the surface. Her tentative attempts at reconciliation were met with a measured calm, as he navigated the emotional terrain with the wisdom earned through years of hardship. The air between them vibrated with the intensity of unspoken confessions, each moment stretching into an eternity of vulnerability. His calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the turbulent mix of emotions that played across her face, a vivid tableau of regret, hope, and uncertainty. The realization that she had returned too late to find him flourishing in the wake of their separation pierced through her defenses with poignant clarity. In her eyes, the reflection of his success was a mirror to her own failings and the irrevocable choices of the past. The stark evidence of his transformation, his steady career, his supportive community, and the radiant joy of his children, served as both a balm and a bitter pill. Every heartbeat in that charged encounter reminded her that life had moved on, relentlessly and beautifully, beyond the confines of their shared history. The moments of silence that punctuated their dialogue were filled with the echoes of memories both cherished and mourned. In the soft cadence of his voice, she could hear not just a man who had survived, but one who had truly thrived in the face of adversity. The reunion was a collision of past and present, a moment where old wounds met new beginnings with an intensity that defied easy resolution. As they stood together, time itself seemed to waver, allowing the full spectrum of their shared history to flow into the present. The profound shift in the dynamics of their relationship was palpable, a living embodiment of the fact that some journeys cannot be retraced. In that transformative moment, the clarity of his growth illuminated every corner of the room, leaving her both awed and deeply remorseful. The unexpected return, marked by this unplanned encounter, now served as a catalyst for the next chapter in a story that was as complex as it was redemptive. Every detail of that encounter bore the unmistakable imprint of time's transformative power, a gentle yet irrevocable force that had reshaped them both in ways neither could have anticipated. In the quiet aftermath of the tumultuous reunion, they both found themselves on the precipice of a long-awaited confrontation with the past, where the raw emotions of anger, sorrow, and regret slowly transformed into a mutual understanding that neither could ignore. The atmosphere was heavy with unspoken words, yet the silence was no longer a barrier, but a canvas for honest introspection and the possibility of renewal. Their eyes met in a moment of vulnerable recognition, as if each saw in the other the deep scars of old wounds and the undeniable evidence of growth that had redefined them both. The air vibrated with the intensity of unexpressed feelings that demanded to be acknowledged and, in doing so, offered a pathway to forgiveness. In that fragile space, they began to peel back the layers of resentment that had accumulated over years of separation, revealing the shared memories of joy and pain that had once bound them together. With trembling voices, they recounted the past, each confession a step toward bridging the chasm that time and betrayal had created. Their words, laden with the weight of regret and the hope of reconciliation, resonated in the room, marking the beginning of an honest dialogue that had long been overdue. In this exchange, the harsh judgments of their former selves softened into a willingness to understand the complexity of their shared history. Each sentence they spoke became a tool for dismantling the walls of misunderstanding, paving the way for a new narrative centered on growth and acceptance. As they navigated this uncharted territory of mutual vulnerability, the pain of their past intermingled with the hope for a future unburdened by old grudges. The atmosphere shifted from one of bitterness to a cautious optimism, as both recognized that true empowerment came from confronting rather than denying the hurt they had endured. In a moment of quiet reflection, he acknowledged that the journey to reclaim his identity had been fraught with challenges, yet it had also gifted him with a strength he now shared with her. She, in turn, admitted that her return had been driven by remorse and the realization that the life they once knew could no longer be reclaimed in its old form. The confession was not an apology for her actions but an acceptance of her role in the painful tapestry of their history. Their exchange was a testament to the transformative power of introspection, where the darkest moments of their shared past had given birth to the possibility of healing. In that charged silence, the scars of betrayal began to fade, replaced by a mutual recognition of the courage required to face the truth of their relationship. The vulnerability in his voice was mirrored by the sincerity in hers, as they both realized that holding on to past animosities would only hinder their ability to move forward. Their conversation meandered through memories of laughter and loss, each recollection serving as both a wound and a reminder of the resilience that had carried them this far. With every carefully chosen word, they dismantled the barriers of bitterness, allowing the light of understanding to seep into the dark recesses of their history. The process was painstaking and raw, yet it was also liberating, as the acknowledgement of shared pain became the cornerstone for a new beginning. In that transformative dialogue, he embraced his new identity fully, a man who had risen from the depths of despair to build a life defined by strength, compassion, and empowerment. She witnessed the man he had become and, for the first time, saw beyond the echoes of a painful past to the promise of what could be if forgiveness prevailed. Their reconciliation was not instantaneous but evolved gradually, as each moment of honesty chipped away at the hardened shell of resentment. Together, they redefined what it meant to forgive, not as an act of weakness but as a powerful declaration of self-worth and liberation. The meeting of their hearts in that moment was a silent agreement that the future held more promise than the accumulated weight of their shared history. Every tear shed in acknowledgement of past mistakes was matched by a smile that hinted at the possibility of redemption. Their conversation, unburdened by the need to assign blame, instead focused on the lessons learned and the growth achieved. The room, once filled with echoes of lost love and shattered dreams, now resonated with the vibrant energy of two souls uniting in the spirit of renewal. In the soft glow of that afternoon light, they forged a fragile truce, a pact to let the past inform but not dictate their future. The empowerment that radiated from him was mirrored in the tentative hope that sparked in her eyes, creating a dynamic of mutual upliftment. As they spoke, the interplay of regret and aspiration wove a tapestry of reconciliation that was as intricate as it was beautiful. In that space, every shared memory, no matter how painful, became a stepping stone toward a more profound understanding of forgiveness. The realization dawned that their individual journeys, though divergent, had converged at this critical juncture to redefine the meaning of love and commitment. Their conversation unfolded like the slow bloom of a resilient flower emerging after a long winter, fragile yet determined to thrive. The transformative power of their honest exchange became evident in the way the room filled with a palpable sense of liberation and possibility. Each word, each pause, and each sigh of relief was a small victory in the battle against the lingering shadows of the past. Their reconciliation was not a return to what once was, but a bold step toward a future defined by the strength of their convictions and the clarity of their truths. As the dialogue deepened, the realization took root that empowerment was not about erasing the pain of yesterday, but about using it to fuel the promise of tomorrow. In embracing the complexity of their emotions, They discovered that healing was a journey best undertaken together, even if the paths that led them there were vastly different. Their newfound connection was built on the foundation of shared struggle and the mutual understanding that every scar told a story of survival and growth. The encounter was a powerful reminder that reconciliation required courage, the courage to admit past failures, and the even greater courage to build a future unmarred by the bitterness of regret. In that decisive moment of clarity, they both realized that the most profound act of empowerment was the ability to let go of what could no longer serve them. The raw honesty of their conversation became the catalyst for a transformation that promised to redefine their relationship in ways that transcended old wounds. Every heartbeat in that room was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a silent pledge to embrace a future filled with hope, understanding, and the liberating power of forgiveness. Their paths, once so starkly divided by misunderstanding and betrayal, now converged in a shared commitment to healing and renewal, marking the end of one chapter and the promising beginning of another.